Hello, OLA.
And welcome to another edition of OLA This Week.
I'm Mr. Love.
And I'm Mr. Moore.
And we have another special guest this week.
Yes, we do.
Charles Naggiar. Charles, welcome to the program.
Welcome to the program, Charles.
It's nice to have you today.
You too.
Welcome.
So last week, you may remember if you were tuning in that we had Ashlyn Smith here. Ashlyn Smith was one of our contestants in the Diocesan Speech Contest. Charles was our other contestant who distinguished himself at the contest, and later in the program, he's going to share with you the speech that he presented, and we'll discuss that a little bit later.
Charles, we're super proud of you. All the effort that you put into the speech and representing our school. So thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.
Very happy to have you. But first, it is the Christmas season, Mr.
Absolutely.
Moore, and
Absolutely.
There is a lot going on at OLA as we get ready for that last week of Christmas. And you've never had a week leading into Christmas break, and it is such a special week for all of us because there's so much going on, and it's all about the Christmas spirit. And so, we kind of kicked off the week on Sunday over at the gym or the parish hall with our breakfast with Santa.
How'd that go?
It went amazing. We had a lot of families. In fact, I think that Stephanie Bill and Jill Rockenstein, our coordinators, who we're so thankful for doing such a great job, I think they were surprised by the turnout even. Well, maybe not surprised, but really pleased by the high volume of people that we had. So the gym was filled with people who were there to have a great breakfast that was sponsored by the Knights of Columbus with a lot of help from our Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. And then kids were getting gifts for their families. And of course, the star of the day, Santa Claus was there.
Santa Claus.
And it's amazing. It's better than going to the mall to take pictures with Santa. Yeah. It's so well done there.
Much more intimate, right?
So it was really, really great. And so once again, we just want to thank Stephanie and Braden Bill and Jill and Mike Rockenstein for coordinating that event and just really warming up the holidays for our families.
Thank you, guys. Sounds like it was great. This community comes together for everything that you guys do. So
it really does. And I also want to thank our Knights of Columbus because they're out there in the kitchen cooking breakfast for everybody, and they're just doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. And our Knights of Columbus do actually a lot for our parish. We see them at a lot of our events, finding just different ways to support us. And then there's the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts, and our 8th graders too. Our 8th graders were there, and they were so nice. They were so good, helping out the little ones as they were picking out their gifts. And so, an event like this, it's not just fun for the people who are there, but it really shows the spirit of service that we have at so many different levels. And we don't really talk a lot about the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts here, but they do a lot here also to serve our parish and our school and really just kind of live, put into practice service.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's great that they're a part of our community and helping out.
It is. And so, speaking of service, this is a season. I walked into Mr. Vidal's classroom today because I needed to ask him something. As soon as I walked in, he's showing a scene from Polar Express, and he has it paused, and he's telling his 2nd graders, this is not about getting gifts, it's about giving.
Season of giving, absolutely.
It is the season of giving. I thought Mr. Vidal really captured that well. And so we have speaking of which, we have several opportunities to give, and so I know you. Would you mind sharing with us what we have going on this week in terms of supporting our St. Vincent de Paul Food Locker?
Oh, absolutely. So our OLA Advent Food Drive is again the 16th through the 19th. And Charles, tell us what we're supposed to bring in tomorrow.
On Tuesday, we're supposed to bring in peanut butter and cereals.
And Wednesday?
Tuna.
Tuna. Okay. What about Thursday?
Canned vegetables and fruits.
Outstanding. And Friday?
Pasta and pasta sauce.
Pasta and pasta sauce.
Or
what?
You could also bring in pasta and syrup if you want to be like Elf, right?
Yes.
Do you think they'd like that?
On your pasta.
All right, very good.
Charles, do you think your class is going to win most cans Friday and win the movie?
Definitely, no contest.
Outstanding.
All right. Okay,
so it's a challenge for the rest of the classes.
It is written 7th grade is going to win the contest according to Charles Naggiar. We also have 2 fundraisers going on at once. The other one is Wellspring, and so Wellspring is an organization set up in Oak Park, and their mission is to really help women and their children who are on the margins of society. They're poor, they need help, and so anything that you can do to help this organization, you will be making a difference in the lives of young women and their young children in the area. And so what we typically do for Wellspring is we'll have students, our student council will be out there, they'll have a bell, they'll be collecting money. So at pickup and drop off, or actually at drop off in the morning this week, if you have any spare change or if you'd like to make a donation to Wellspring, please just put it in the hat and the student council will collect it and we'll deliver it over to them at the end of the week.
That's awesome.
There's one last thing, and this is a drive that's over now, but I have to tell you, yesterday after the Breakfast with Santa, I was helping with Mrs. Cotton prepare for our Christmas Eve Mass, because we do a really special Mass where our children act out the Liturgy of the Word. And as I passed through St. John's Hall, the whole hall was just filled with gifts that a lot of our parishioners had given from the giving tree.
Right.
So I just want to take a moment to just thank any of our school families who are also parishioners who may have helped and contributed. You have all made a really big difference this Christmas in the lives of many different people who otherwise wouldn't have gifts. So thank you for that. And finally, we have a Christmas program.
Oh my gosh, we have a Christmas program. So my first experience with Christmas program here at OLA, I've been to all of our practices so far. Amazing work. The kids are working so hard, you know, and our music teacher, oh my gosh, what an amazing woman, and how hard, this is her heart and soul. She puts everything into this program. So we're so blessed to have her, and we're so excited to see, I'm so excited to see all the kids Tuesday night, tomorrow night, and again on Wednesday. It's going to be incredible.
Yes, Mrs. Chipitar is our virtuoso, and not only is she a beautiful performer, but a great director. And you know, a lot of our faculty and staff who get to be here behind the scenes watching the rehearsals, they don't only talk and glow about how our children are performing, but how you know, the work that she does. It's just fun to watch her her do the work. But you know what, families, I do want to say this: our children have been at their best behavior through these long practices. They've been really practicing well, so they have something very special in store for you on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning for our Christmas program. Also, just wanted to share with you a couple of things regarding the program so that nobody's caught off guard. But at that program, we are going to have in the pews, and we'll have them throughout the week, through Christmas as well, just speaking of the season of giving, a chance for anybody who hasn't made a pledge to for the building of the new parish hall, school gym, and preschool. We'll have pledge cards, and there'll be an opportunity on Tuesday night to contribute to that. If you haven't had a chance to do that, we'd really appreciate your participation in that. And as well as during the week.
Also, during the Christmas program, we're going to be opening up our back lot so that cars can park in the back. You know, it's going to be a very well-attended program, so we want to make sure everybody has ample parking.
So all of the gates leading back to the food locker and into the school playground are open for you so that you don't have to park in the neighborhood. You can just park right there. The only thing we ask is that as soon as the program's over, please make sure that we can get that parking lot emptied out. So we thank you for that. And finally, the moment that we've been waiting for.
All right, Charles, you ready?
I'm ready.
Ready. So before we go on, you know, we had asked Ashlyn last week, you know, what, you know, her thoughts about participating in the Diocesan Speech Contest. You know, you had an outstanding speech leading into it. I knew you were going to do really well. But what were your thoughts going into the contest?
Going into it, I was really nervous. Like, it's nerve-wracking just standing there giving your speech to about 100 people in the audience, but it was a fun experience. I'd do it again.
That's
Definitely
awesome.
just put things into perspective about seeing how well everyone could write a speech.
Public speaking is one of the hardest things people do, so you're pretty brave to get up there and do that. We're definitely proud of you.
Thank you.
Very much so. I certainly was on that day when you made the speech, and I can't wait to see it again. Are you ready?
I am.
All right. Charles Naggiar.
The saints weren't superhuman. They were people who loved God in their hearts and shared this joy with others. Think about that for a second. We always look up to saints as these higher people who were visited by God and became holy. We look up to them almost as if they're not even human, but as if they're superhuman, which isn't the case at all. In fact, any of you could be a saint. How cool is that? By loving God and sharing that with others, you could be a saint. One of my favorite examples of this is Saint Therese of Lisieux. She is the patron saint of small acts of kindness, and that's what being a saint is all about. She was often known as the little flower, because she was a little flower in God's big garden, but still able to make a difference on a small scale. She was known to never complain throughout her life. In fact, she lifted people up when she was down. Her mom joined the Carmelite order when she was 4.5, and so did her older sisters. That left her without a mother figure for much of her life. She eventually joined the Carmelite order herself, and though suffering many losses, never complained about a thing. Now, I'd like to point out that nothing she did was superhuman in any way, yet she was still made a saint. That goes for anyone who is a saint. They didn't let the blind see, the dead rise, or the mute speak. They weren't superhuman. They were people just like you and me, who loved God in their hearts so much that they asked Him to intervene in their life and the lives of others. And sometimes God did make the blind see, the dead rise, or the mute speak. There's so much love that God is waiting to give us that we can't even fathom, and spreading just a mere portion of that love can make such a huge difference in your life and the lives of others. Now that's not superhuman, but it sounds like a pretty great way to live life to me. And who knows, maybe one day it'll make you a saint.
Charles, I've heard that speech many times before when you were rehearsing in here and when you performed at the contest. And every time I hear it, I'm just so impressed.
Wow, I was floored. That was amazing. Great speech. Good job.
Thank you.
And you picked, like, I really like it that you picked, I mean, any of the saints, they all have their amazing stories, but there's something very special about the story of the little flower, Therese of Lisieux. And what you say is so true for, I think for your age group, how little things can make a big difference over time. If you don't know who Saint Therese of Lisieux was, she believed, she called herself the little flower because she believed, she was very humble, and she believed that in a big garden with multiple, beautiful flowers and beautiful plants, that she was a small one, but that in her own special way she could make a difference. And it's such a great message about saints, and you conveyed it so well.
Awesome.
In your speech.
Great
So
job.
So I have to ask, you're up there, you look so poised, so calm. What's going on inside of you?
It's nerve-wracking. I like to consider it like a duck. You can see this graceful bird swimming above the water, but you don't see that underneath. I'm just freaking out, kicking my legs as much as I can, trying to get through it.
That's a great analogy.
It is a great one, and you know what? I can tell you this. I don't think from Mr. Moore's perspective or from mine, we saw any of your feet moving. You were in total control of the speech. So
Very
well
poised.
done, my man.
Thank you.
Good job, Charles.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps up our show.
Well, remember to like, share, and follow our social media for OLA news and updates.
Thank you, Charles.
All right, Mr. Love.
Mr. Moore.
Remember,
love more than you think you can. God bless, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.